Hey everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to be discussing a few tips and tricks if you are going to be bonding your rabbit with another. Let's first start by talking about the tips and tricks for you to think about or utilize prior to adopting your new rabbit. First and foremost, adopt, don't shop. This is really big, and there's a few reasons that I have this as the most important part. For one, I know it might seem like a good idea to go and buy your new bunny at a local pet store, but most of these bunnies come from breeding mills, which are usually not in great conditions for these rabbits. And it's actually estimated that 30% of the rabbits that are coming die on the way to get there to the pet store. Also, many of them are only like 4 weeks old when sold, and that's at a time that they still need their mom. By buying from a pet store, you're only continuing this cycle. Also, rabbits are the third most popular pet. Did you know that? Neither did I. But they're also the third most surrendered pet at local shelters. I think the main reasons for this is that many people, especially around Easter, buy these pets thinking that they're going to be an easy animal to take care of, or maybe they buy it for their kids and they don't realize the amount of work that these pets actually need. So they often will either throw them outside, but domestic rabbits cannot survive in the wild, or they'll surrender them to a local rabbit shelter. By adopting at a local rabbit shelter, you're not only saving that animal's life and giving it a loving home and giving it unconditional love that it probably didn't have before, but you're opening up a spot for a new rabbit to then be there and hopefully find his or her forever home as well. Lastly, most of these rabbit shelters can really help you with the bonding process. Many of them will do speed dating, which I'll talk about later. And also, they will usually only adopt them out spayed or neutered. Fixing a rabbit is so important. First and foremost, it allows the rabbit to live a lot longer. Most will develop cancer by the age of 2 if not fixed. And also, it helps with behavioral problems. And if you're thinking about bonding your rabbit with another, please fix your bunnies, because you don't want baby bunnies running around everywhere. And behavioral problems, it'll help them get along better. Second most important tip, pre-adoption, is speed dating. I had mentioned this before, that many local rabbit shelters will help you with this part of the process, but it is really important. I'll give you a brief description of what it is. You can look at my previous videos, which I'll link below. If you want to see what that really looks like a big overview of what it's like, you can definitely watch those videos. But basically, this is a great way to have your bunny choose which rabbit is best for him or her. It's going to be your bunny's lifelong partner, so it's very important that you allow them to choose and have that decision completely on them. Basically, what happens is that your bunny will basically speed date with a bunch of other bunnies, and you'll get to see which bunnies he or she gets along with best. You'll go to the shelter several times before adopting, just so you can gain a better idea of which one your rabbit gets along with the best out of all of them. Okay, third most important rule pre-adoption is to have the supplies that you need. My big supplies that I'll talk about mainly in this is the X-Pen, the wooden plank, and a sheet. The X-Pen allows for you to set them up next to each other, but still separately. And the wooden plank is put in between those two playpens to allow for them not to be able to put to make sure that they can't push the playpens closer if they wanted to fight through them or anything like that. The sheet goes over the playpens. I used clips to clip it on just so the rabbits don't think that they can jump out or over into each other's. Obviously, make sure you have all the other supplies needed for your second bunny: water bowl, an extra litter box, a blanket, all of that. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Number 1 on my list, swapping. This is so important. Swap, swap, swap. Every single day, swap. So what I mean by swapping is from one X pen to the other, you're gonna switch their litter boxes every day. So your whichever this rabbit had this day, now the other rabbit will have it the next day. Swap their litter boxes, swap their toys. And I bought a blanket I think it was from Petco. They laid on it a lot, and this allowed for them to get their scent all over the blanket. And then I would swap those as well to allow them to rub their scent and get used to each other's smell. That's what swapping is all about. The swapping is there to help these rabbits really get their smell all over each other and get used to it. Tip trick number 2, post-adoption. Let them explore separately. Don't keep them in the playpen the entire time. Let one rabbit out for a bit and then put him or her back and grab the new rabbit and let him or her run around. This really allows your new rabbit to get used to his or her new environment, which is really important, and get their scents all over each other. You don't want to do this together yet because they're not fully bonded, so don't let them explore together just yet. Third important thing, dates. Just like speed dating, you're going to do that with just obviously your new rabbit and your previous rabbit. The best way to start these is to start it in an area that neither of them have really been in. I chose my bathroom. Many people start with using their tub. That didn't really work out for me, but if it works out for you, that's great. Just make sure you have a towel down so they're not slipping and sliding everywhere. I put an X pen in the bathroom to make sure that they couldn't go behind the toilet or any small areas I wouldn't be able to help if they started fighting. You're gonna wanna bring a litter box in with you and maybe something such as a dustpan just to separate them if they do start to fight. One key thing to help you during dates is if they begin to bow their head down to each other, start petting them simultaneously and then swap your hands and continue petting just to rub their scent on each other. That's very helpful. Another great tip for their dates at home is to always end on a positive note. A great way to end a date is if you're petting them simultaneously and you're swapping hands consistently, or if they're cuddling together, or even if they're just laying there, not by each other, but they're totally fine with being in the same space as each other. Tip and trick number 4 for post-adoption. Upgrade dates as time goes on. When you notice your bunnies are getting along fairly well and consistently in the original spot that you had started in, move it to something bigger. I chose my living room, but I still kept them in an X pen. That was a space that they both had been around. Start to maybe feed them at the same time. I did this technique by having 2 piles of lettuce and they ate their own, and then I slowly put the piles of lettuce together and then they were eating out of the same pile. That worked out very well. You can also start to try and give them treats together. And if this goes well, my next step would be to open up their playpens together. So wherever you had them separately in the 2 separate playpens, open them up together so they have one big space and they can explore each other's space. This would be a really good way to really see how their bonding process is going. But the main point of this tip or trick is to not do it so quickly. Make sure that your rabbits are ready for these transitions before eagerly jumping to it. And if that's going well, this is when we go to tip and trick number 5. Start leaving them alone together. Now, you don't have to just jump straight to leaving for a whole work day. What I mean by this is maybe cook Maybe when you're making your meals, you let them mingle together alone in the X pen. Maybe you take a laundry break and let them in the playpen together. My next step was to have their playpens open again, like for each other to go and explore while I slept. So you're still there if anything awful was to happen, but you're trusting them and you're really getting to see if you get to see their bonding progress. And if that goes well for a few days in a row, that's when you would have to make that decision on if you're ready to move to the final and last step of leaving them alone together by going to work, perhaps, or say you're going to classes. That would be a good time to leave them alone. And if that goes well, congratulations, you have successfully bonded your rabbits. I hope you enjoyed this video of my tips and tricks for bonding your rabbits. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm always looking for new ideas, new videos. So please comment any type of videos that you would like to see below.